Rain hammered the roof like it was trying to bust its way inside, a steady thump that matched the pounding in my chest. I stood by the living room window, staring at the driveway where her car had been an hour ago. That sleek black sedan she'd leased to look the part at work was gone now, taillights swallowed by the wet night. She'd taken it, and herself, off to him. Her boss. The guy I used to rib her about over dinner, never thinking his name would end up carved into my gut like a jagged scar. Her voice still echoed in my skull, casual as hell, like she was tossing out a reminder to grab milk. It's an open marriage, don't wait up. She'd said it while fixing her hair in the hall mirror, her reflection catching the light just right. Beautiful, cold, untouchable. 6 weeks, she told me. 6 weeks with him, some work trip that sounded more like a honeymoon than a job. And me? I was supposed to sit here, in this house we'd built, and just deal with it. Like it was normal. Like it didn't rip my world apart. I didn't say a damn thing back. My throat locked up, words choking somewhere deep, and all I could do was watch her grab that shiny new suitcase, bought special for this, and walk out. The door slammed, and the silence hit me like a freight train. I don't even know how I ended up at the window. Maybe I thought she'd turn around, laugh it off, say she didn't mean it. But the rain kept falling, washing away the last traces of her tires, and she was gone. The house didn't feel like mine anymore. The couch where we'd binge old movies on lazy Sundays? Just a slab of leather now, dead and empty. The kitchen table where she'd tease me for burning the steaks? It mocked me, sitting there all quiet and useless. I wandered through the rooms, footsteps bouncing off the walls like I was trespassing in some abandoned shell. Her perfume lingered, light, floral, with that vanilla kick I used to love. It was fading already, though. Soon it'd be nothing. Just like her words. Open marriage. What the hell did that even mean? I crashed onto the floor in our bedroom, right by the bed we'd shared for damn near a decade. My side of the sheets was a mess. I hadn't bothered making it this morning, too rushed to care. Hers? Perfect, smooth, like she hadn't slept there in weeks. Maybe she hadn't. Not really. My brain started spinning, picking at every memory like a vulture. When did this start? How many times did she smile at me, knowing she was already gone? How many nights did I crash out next to her, clueless that she was dreaming of him? I reached for her nightstand, fingers brushing the paperback she'd been reading. Some sappy romance, dog-eared halfway through. She never finished books, always said life was too short for boring stories. Guess I was the boring story now. Too steady, too safe. I gripped that book hard, pages crumpling under my knuckles, but I couldn't chuck it. It was hers. It was something. All I had left while she was out there, rewriting our rules. The rain picked up, wind howling through the cracks in the windows like it was pissed off too. My head throbbed, pulse hammering in my temples. I should have done something. Flipped on the lights, made coffee, anything to prove I wasn't just a ghost haunting my own life. But I stayed there, staring at that empty bed, feeling something inside me snap. Not loud, not fast, but slow and ugly, like a bone breaking under pressure. She was gone. She'd picked him. And I was stuck here, drowning in this open marriage bullshit she dropped on me like a grenade, watching it blow my whole damn life to pieces. The rain didn't let up. It was still pounding the house come morning, a gray smear of a day that matched the fog in my head. I hadn't slept, couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, her voice slithered back in. It's an open marriage, don't wait up. Like it was some kind of gift she was giving me, this freedom I never asked for. I sat on the edge of the couch, coffee gone cold in my hands, staring at the TV I hadn't bothered to turn on. The silence was louder than the storm outside, and it was eating me alive. What the hell was an open marriage supposed to mean, anyway? I kept turning it over in my mind, like a puzzle with missing pieces. Was it her way of saying she could screw around while I just sat here, playing the good husband? Or was I supposed to be out there too, chasing tail to even the score? The thought made my stomach churn. I didn't want anyone else. I wanted her, us, the way it used to be. But maybe that us was dead a long time ago, and I'd been too dumb to notice. I got up, pacing the living room like a caged animal. The walls felt tighter now, closing in with every step. Her stuff was everywhere, little reminders she'd left behind to twist the knife. That scarf draped over the armchair, the one she'd worn last winter when we drove up to the mountains. The framed photo on the mantel, us grinning like idiots at some barbecue years back. I stopped in front of it, staring at her smile. Was she already planning this then? Laughing at me behind those perfect teeth? My mind started digging, clawing through the past for signs I'd missed. The late nights at the office she'd brushed off as deadlines. The way she'd started locking her phone, saying it was work stuff. That weekend she went to a conference and came back with a tan she couldn't explain. I let it slide every damn time because I trusted her, because I loved her. But now those moments stacked up like bricks, building a wall between the life I thought we had and the one she'd been living all along. I sank back onto the couch, hands raking through my hair. This open marriage crap wasn't freedom. It was a trap. Her rules, her game. She got to run off with her slick-ass boss, probably sipping cocktails in some fancy hotel bar right now, while I was stuck here, drowning in questions. Did she think I'd just nod and go along with it? That I'd sit pretty and wait for her to come back when she was done playing? The idea lit a spark of something hot in my chest. Anger, maybe, or something uglier. I grabbed my phone, thumb hovering over her name. I could call her, demand answers. Where was she? What was she doing with him? But even as I thought it, I knew I wouldn't. Not yet. Hearing her voice, cool, detached, like she didn't just torch our life, would only make it worse. Instead, I tossed the phone across the room. It hit the wall with a dull thud, screen probably cracked. Good. Let something else break for once. The house creaked under the weight of the storm, and I felt it in my bones. This sinking, suffocating weight. She'd flipped the script, turned our marriage into some kind of free-for-all, and I didn't even get a vote. I kept picturing her with him, that smug bastard in his tailored suits, probably smirking at how easy it was to take her from me. My fists clenched, nails digging into my palms till they stung. I wasn't free. I was a prisoner in this bullshit she'd built, locked up with nothing but her ghost and a word I was starting to hate. Open. Yeah, open like a wound, bleeding me dry. The rain finally quit sometime after noon, leaving the house damp and heavy, like it was sweating out her absence. I couldn't sit still anymore. The quiet was too loud. Her words, open marriage, ricocheting in my skull like a bullet that wouldn't stop. I needed something, anything, to make sense of it. Proof she wasn't just screwing with my head. So I started looking. Not sure what I was after, but I'd know it when I found it. Her office was the first stop, that little room off the hall she'd claimed as her space. The door creaked open, and her scent hit me hard, that vanilla flower mix that used to feel like home. Now it just made me want to puke. Her desk was a mess of papers, pens, a coffee mug with lipstick stains still on the rim. I rifled through it all, hands shaking like I was breaking into a stranger's place. Bills, work memos, nothing juicy. Then I saw it. Her laptop, sitting there like a dare. I flipped it open. Password. Of course. I tried her usual. Our anniversary, the dog's name from years back. Nothing. Then I punched in his name, Mark. The screen blinked to life. My gut twisted. She'd changed it to him. How long had that been a thing? I scrolled through her emails, half expecting some sappy love notes, but it was worse. Work stuff? Sure, but buried in there were hotel receipts. Miami, 2 months back. She'd told me it was a solo trip, just business. The dates lined up with a weekend I'd spent fixing the garage door while she was, what? Screwing him under palm trees? I kept digging, heart hammering like it had bust out of my chest. Her browser history was wiped clean, too clean. She'd covered her tracks, but not good enough. I found a folder tucked in her documents labeled taxes. Bullshit. Inside were photos, her and Mark at some swanky rooftop bar, her laughing, him leaning in close. No open marriage vibe there. Just them. Like I didn't exist. My hands clenched the laptop so hard I thought I'd snap it in half. Next stop was the bedroom. Her closet. I tore through it, tossing dresses and shoes like they'd spill her secrets. At the bottom of a drawer, under a pile of scarves, I found a burner phone. Cheap. Prepaid. The kind you see in crime shows. It powered on, and there they were, texts. Dozens of them. Miss you already. Can't wait for next week. All from M. No replies from her, but she'd kept them. Why? To gloat? To remind herself how easy it was to ditch me? I sank onto the bed, phone in my lap, staring at the screen till it blurred. This wasn't open. Open meant we both played, both agreed. This was her running the show, him in on it, me left in the dark like some chump. I thought back to every time she'd brush me off, late nights, vague excuses. How many times had she come home smelling like his cologne, and I'd chalked it up to my imagination. How long had she been living this other life, pretending I'd signed up for it? The room spun, walls pressing in tighter. I wanted to smash something. Her phone, the laptop, that damn photo of us on the mantel. But I just sat there, chest heaving, drowning in it. She'd built this whole game, her open marriage rules, and I wasn't even a player, just a prop. A placeholder till she didn't need me anymore. My fingers tightened around the burner, the plastic creaking. She thought she could rewrite us, leave me holding the bag while she danced off with him. But I wasn't done yet. Not by a long shot. I'd find every lie she'd buried, every crack in her story. And when I did, she'd see I wasn't the fool she thought I was. Night crept in slow, the kind of heavy dark that sticks to your skin. I hadn't moved from the bedroom floor. That burner phone still clutched in my hand like a loaded gun. The texts glowed up at me. Miss you already, can't wait. Each one a punch to the face. I kept picturing her with him, Mark, that prick with his polished shoes and smug grin. Her laughing at some private joke in a hotel room, sheets tangled. While I was here, rotting in this house, she'd turned into a graveyard. Open marriage. The words tasted like bile now. I'd been chewing on them all day, letting them fester, and every time they hit me harder. Open for who? Her. Sure. Off-screwing her boss while I was supposed to what? Sit here and clap for her freedom? Find some random fling to balance it out. I didn't want that. I didn't want anyone else. I'd wanted her, only her, and she'd taken that and lit it on fire like it was trash. This wasn't a deal we'd made. It was her rewriting the rules mid-game, leaving me stuck on the bench. I staggered to my feet, legs numb from sitting too long, and stumbled to the kitchen. The whiskey bottle on the counter was half empty. I didn't remember drinking that much last week. I poured a slug into a glass, then skipped the glass and took it straight from the neck. It burned going down, but it didn't quiet the noise in my head. I kept seeing them. Her hair spilling over a pillow, his hands on her. That rooftop bar photo playing on a loop. My grip tightened on the bottle, knuckles white. I wanted to smash it, hurl it through the window, watch the glass shatter like my life had. Instead, I grabbed my keys. I didn't know where I was going, just out. The truck roared to life, headlights cutting through the damp night. I drove past our street, past the diner we used to hit on late nights, past the life we'd had. My brain wouldn't shut off. Was she with him right now? Were they laughing about me, the idiot husband who didn't see it coming? I punched the steering wheel, horn blaring into the empty road. The rage was a living thing now, clawing up my throat, begging to get out. I ended up downtown, parked outside his office building, some sleek glass tower that screamed money. Lights were off, but I sat there anyway, staring up like I could see through the walls. Was that where it started? Late nights in his corner office, her leaning over his desk, working? I imagined storming in, finding them, smashing his face into that fancy mahogany. But what would that fix? She'd still be gone. She'd still have picked him, picked this open bullshit over me. The whiskey buzz faded, leaving me hollow. I drove back home, tires hissing on wet pavement, the anger simmering into something colder, sharper. She thought she could just declare this, open the door and walk out, while I swallowed it like a good boy. But I wasn't good anymore. I wasn't hers to play with. I'd found her lies, the receipts, the phone, the photos, and they were ammo now, stacking up in my corner. I didn't know what I'd do with it yet, but I knew one thing. I wasn't powerless. Not like she thought. Back in the house, I stood in the living room, the dark pressing in. The air felt thick, like it was holding its breath. I dropped onto the couch, head in my hands, the burner phone digging into my thigh. I hated her for this. Hated him too. But most of all, I hated how small I felt. How trapped. Her freedom was my cage, and I was done rattling the bars. Whatever came next, it'd be on my terms. She'd see that soon enough. The house was dead quiet when I woke up, sprawled on the couch with a crick in my neck and that damn burner phone still in my pocket. Sunlight sliced through the blinds, harsh and unforgiving, like it was pissed at me too. I'd spent the night drowning in whiskey and rage, her open marriage, line looping in my head till it was just noise. But something felt different now, sharper. I wasn't ready to roll over yet. Not after everything I'd found. I dragged myself to the kitchen, splashed water on my face, and grabbed her laptop again. Those hotel receipts, the photos, the texts, they'd been gnawing at me, but I hadn't looked close enough. I pulled up her email, scrolling past the lovey-dovey crap from M, hunting for something I'd missed. And there it was, buried in a thread marked Project Updates. Not some steamy affair note, just a cold, clipped message from Mark. Wire the funds by Friday. Keep him out of it. Funds? Him? My pulse kicked up. What the hell was this? I dug deeper, cracking into attachments I'd skipped before. Bank statements, transfer records, a PDF labeled Client Trust. My name was on it. My signature, scrawled at the bottom of some account I'd never seen. Hundreds of thousands of dollars, funneled through a shell company I didn't recognize. Dates lined up with her trips. Miami, Chicago, that conference last fall. My hands shook as I pieced it together. This wasn't just her screwing around. She and Mark were screwing me, financially, legally, every damn way. The open marriage line, the work trip, a smokescreen to keep me distracted while they bled me dry. I sat back, staring at the screen, the room tilting around me. All this time, I'd been tearing myself apart over her and him, imagining late-night hookups and rooftop bars. But it wasn't just about that, or maybe not at all. She'd played me, turned our life into a con, and I'd been too busy choking on her bullshit to see it. My signature on those papers? Forged, had to be. I'd never signed off on Jack. She'd used me as a fall guy, a patsy in whatever scam they were running. The rage came back, but it wasn't wild anymore. It was cold, focused, like a blade. I grabbed a notebook and started jotting down everything. Dates, amounts, account numbers. My head was clear for the first time in days, the fog burning off. She thought she could pull this off, leave me holding the bag while she and Mark skipped town with the cash. But I had proof now, hard evidence, and I wasn't some clueless sap anymore. I hit the gym that afternoon, first time in weeks. The weights felt good, heavy, real, something I could control. Each rep pounded the truth deeper. I wasn't the victim here, not if I didn't let myself be. She'd built this game, her and Mark, thinking I'd stay broken, too gutted to fight back. But they'd miscalculated. I showered, shaved, stared at myself in the mirror, a guy I hadn't seen in a while. Leaner, harder, done playing by her rules. Back home, I pulled her stuff from the closet, dresses, shoes, that scarf, and piled it by the door. Not throwing it out yet, just clearing space. My space. I kept the laptop open, the burner phone charged. They were weapons now, not wounds. She'd be back in a few weeks, thinking I'd still be here, moping, ready to take her open marriage crap lying down. But I'd be ready too. This wasn't about love anymore. It was about winning. And I was done losing. The house didn't feel like a tomb anymore. It was mine now, stripped down to the bones and rebuilt in the last few days. I'd hauled her stuff, those dresses, the scarf, all of it, out to the garage, stacked in trash bags like the garbage it was. The bedroom smelled like bleach, not her perfume. I'd scrubbed every trace of her out, top to bottom, till the place was a blank slate. No more ghosts. Just me, the laptop, and a plan. I'd spent hours with those files, piecing it all together. The Client Trust was a slush fund, money siphoned from her company, funneled through fake accounts with my name plastered on them. Mark was the brains, she was the face, and I was the fall guy they'd pinned it on. But they'd gotten sloppy. Emails, wire records, that burner phone. It was a roadmap to their scam. I'd printed it all, locked it in a safe I'd bought cheap off some guy on Craigslist. Evidence. Leverage. Power. I called a lawyer the next morning, some shark I found online with a rep for tearing people apart in court. Laid it all out. Forged signatures, the money trail, her work trip lie. He didn't blink, just said, "We've got him by the balls. Sit tight." I wasn't sitting, though. I hit the gym again, harder this time, weights slamming like I was pounding their faces into the ground. My body was changing, leaner, stronger, and so was my head. She'd wanted me weak, distracted by her open marriage bullshit. That was her mistake. I changed the locks that afternoon. The click of the new deadbolt felt final, like slamming a door she'd never open again. Her key wouldn't work now. Let her figure that out when she rolled back with her suitcase and her smug little grin. I trashed the photo on the mantle too, frame and all, glass crunching under my boot. No more pretending we'd ever been a team. She'd picked her side, and I'd picked mine. The laptop stayed on, a constant hum in the background. I'd tracked their moves. Mark's social media showed him at some conference in LA, probably where she was too, living it up on stolen cash. I didn't care about their fling anymore, if it even was one. That was small potatoes. This was about the game they'd tried to play, thinking I'd never catch on. I emailed the lawyer scans of everything, kept backups on a drive I stashed in my truck. No chances. No slip-ups. Night fell, and I sat in the kitchen, sipping coffee instead of whiskey. The house was quiet, but it wasn't empty. It was mine, every inch. I'd stopped seeing her shadow in the corners, stopped hearing her voice in my head. Open marriage didn't mean jack anymore. It was her excuse, her shield, and I'd ripped it away. She'd come back soon, expecting me to be the same broken mess she'd left. But I wasn't that guy. I'd burned her rules to ash, built my own. And when she walked through that door, she'd see what happens when you bet against someone who's got nothing left to lose. The day she came back, the sky was clear. No rain, no drama. Just a flat blue stretch over the house like nothing had ever happened. I'd been waiting, not out of hope, but out of certainty. The lawyer had everything lined up, papers filed, evidence locked and loaded. I'd spent the last week tying up loose ends, turning the mess she'd left into a weapon. The new locks gleamed on the door, the safe hummed in the corner, and I was ready. She wasn't walking back into my life. She was walking into a reckoning. I heard the car first, tires crunching gravel in the driveway. Then the engine cut off, and there she was, stepping out in that same black sedan, suitcase in hand like she'd just been on some normal trip. She looked good, tan, hair perfect, a little smirk playing on her lips. Like she thought she'd won. I watched from the window, arms crossed, feeling nothing but cold steel in my chest. No love, no hate, just focus. She rang the bell, then knocked when it didn't open. I let her wait. Finally, I swung the door wide, leaning against the frame. Her smirk faltered when she saw me, shaved, sharp, not the wreck she'd left behind. "Hey," she said, voice light, testing the water. "Miss me?" I didn't answer, just stared her down till she shifted, uneasy. She tried the key, her key, and it didn't turn. That's when the confusion hit her eyes. "What's this?" "New locks," I said flat. "New rules." She laughed, short and nervous. "Come on, don't be dramatic. I told you, open marriage. It's not a big deal." She stepped forward, like she could still waltz in and own the place. I blocked her, arm out, and her face hardened. "What the hell's your problem?" "My problem." I pulled the folder from under my arm, printouts, bank records, her forged signature next to mine. I tossed it at her feet, pages scattering across the porch. "That's my problem. You and Mark, cooking the books, pinning it on me. 6 weeks wasn't a trip, it was a heist." Her mouth opened, then shut, color draining from her face. She scrambled for a lie. I could see it, but I didn't give her the chance. "Save it," I cut in. "I've got it all. Emails, transfers, your little burner phone love notes. Lawyer's already on it. Cops too, soon enough. You're done." She stared at the papers, then at me, like she was seeing a stranger. "You can't, you wouldn't. Watch me." I stepped closer, voice low. "You thought you could play me, throw out open marriage, like it'd keep me quiet while you and your boyfriend clean me out. But I'm not your pawn. Not anymore." She backed up, clutching her suitcase, eyes darting like a trapped animal. "We can fix this," she stammered. I'll come back. We'll figure it out." "Nah." I shook my head, almost smiling. "You don't get it. I don't want you back. I don't want your rules, your games, your lies. You're out. This is my house, my life. Take your shit and go." She froze, then grabbed the folder, hands trembling. "You'll regret this," she spat, but it was weak, desperate. I didn't flinch. She turned, stormed to her car, and peeled out, tires kicking dust. I watched till she was gone, the last thread of her snapping clean. Inside, I locked the door, the click echoing in the quiet. The house was mine, really mine, stripped of her shadow. The safe held my future, the gym bag by the couch held my present. I'd won, not by breaking her, but by breaking free. She'd gambled on me staying small, staying hers. She'd lost. I poured a coffee, sat by the window, and let the silence settle. For the first time in weeks, it felt like peace.